noticed in recent times that my criticisms of Donald Trump are as much anymore over how he's deliberately sabotaging his own campaign and putting Hillary Clinton's fat, saggy ass in the White House, as it is that Donald Trump is not a conservative, he is not a Republican, he is a National Socialist at best, a Democrat plant at worst. And the thing that's frustrating, and the reason why we in Never Trump continue to criticize the way that Trump is running his campaign is precisely that. I mean, Trump supporters endlessly throw at those of us in Never Trump, "Oh, Hillary's your candidate, huh?" Which is ridiculous and counterfactual. We wanted a candidate who could defeat Hillary Clinton, and any other candidate in the GOP field would have. Trump was the only one that Hillary Clinton could beat, and that's the one that Trump supporters shoved down our throats. They have guaranteed Hillary Clinton going back into the White House, not us. We were trying to stop it. And that's why, as Jim Garrity points out in his Morning Jolt newsletter today, the argument about Never Trump is pretty much moot in every way imaginable. With few, if any, Trump ads on the air, campaign offices few and far between, a campaign schedule that keeps sending the candidate to rallies in deep blue states, every indicator showing the GOP nominee getting obliterated among Latinos, African Americans, young people, women, etc., 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 and the polls looking abysmal for both Trump and congressional Republicans. For those of you thinking, wow, presidential candidates haven't had coattails, positive or negative, in years. Well, this time it may be. Think about that. You thought you were going to get the White House back for the GOP. Instead, you Trump supporters may well have cost us our congressional majorities. What do you think a President Hillary Clinton is going to do with Democrat majorities in the House and Senate? Remember 2009? That's what you people have done to us. Reluctant conservatives are among the least of Trump's problems. That's the bottom line. If all Trump skeptical Republicans put aside all of their concerns and jumped on board the Trump train,
come on! Nice and easy! Don't look down! That's it! You're doing fine!
the outlook for his campaign wouldn't be any different. It's hard to get emotionally invested in the need for Trump to win when the candidate finds a new way to botch things every single day. If he's not fighting with a slain soldier's dad, he's serving up a dozen tweets about how unfair the media is to him, which is another way of saying they're not rigging the election in his favor, with which he'd have absolutely no difficulty. He certainly didn't have any problem with the Republican primaries being rigged in his favor. If he's not preemptively claiming the election will be rigged, he's implying gun owners will assassinate Hillary Clinton. If he's not calling Barack Obama the founder of ISIS and insisting it's not a metaphor, he's whining about the debate schedule. Trump's longtime right-hand man, Roger Stone, just claimed without any supporting evidence that Scott Walker and Reince Priebus rigged as many as 5 elections, including the defeat of a Walker recall election. Even the left has never alleged that. The entire Trump circus is a deep dive into paranoid conspiracy theories and seething resentment that does nothing to advance the cause of limited government or individual liberty. Trump gives his GOP skeptics nothing to latch onto as a sign of genuine hope. You know, I keep hearing from Trump fans that the future of the Republic is at stake. We gotta stop Hillary! Yeah, if you wanted to stop Hillary, you shouldn't have nominated Trump. Now, but if that's the case, if now belatedly you're all about stopping Hillary, why are there bigger expectations and demands of reluctant conservatives instead of the candidate himself? I mean, one of the things that's most relentlessly infuriating about Trump and his supporters is their adamant refusal to consider that anything he's done or is doing isn't working. They think they're winning and that all of the polls showing Hillary Clinton with a sizable and growing lead are part of a vast conspiratorial misinformation campaign. You know what this reminds me of more than anything else? I talked about it in a previous video. The Christine O'Donnell Senate campaign in Delaware in 2010. Just to review, that was Joe Biden's old seat. 2010 was a GOP wave election. We had a candidate. The GOP had a candidate. Mike Castle had been in Delaware's at-large congressman for 18 years. So nine times in a row he'd won statewide in Delaware. All the polls showed him destroying Chris Coons, the Democrat candidate. But no, the Tea Party in Delaware shoved Christine O'Donnell down the throats of Delaware GOP voters. All the polls showed her getting destroyed by the Democrat candidate, Chris Coons, by like 20 points. But no, I remember those Christine O'Donnell supporters. If we fight hard enough, fight for Christine, she can win. And so, and plus the O'Donnell campaign smeared Mike Castle, he had an American Conservative Union voting rating of about 50, so he was about half and half. Definitely a rhino, but that's the best you're going to do in a state as blue as Delaware. The point was picking up that seat for the GOP, but no. The Christine O'Donnell campaign smeared Mike Castle. I think they smeared him as a homosexual, if I remember correctly. And so O'Donnell, I don't know, I'm not going to say cheated, but she used gutter tactics to win the GOP senatorial nomination. And then went on to lose to Chris Coons by 20 percentage points. She wasn't ready. She was a fraud. She was a flake. She was a disgrace. She was a usurper. And thus was a low-hanging fruit Senate seat in a GOP wave election kicked, forfeited to the Democrats. And now the same thing, the equivalent thing, is being done at the highest level at a time when the country could least afford it. Even if you reject all polls besides the self-selecting online ones showing Trump ahead, consider this. The pro-Hillary Clinton Super PAC Priorities USA is suspending TV advertising in Virginia, Colorado, and Pennsylvania until at least the end of September. That tends to suggest that they don't think they need the advertising because all those states are in the bag, and they are, by an average of 14 percentage points. Now, maybe this is a giant head fake on the part of the Democrat Super PAC, one of the all-time epic excuses in reverse psychology, or exercises. Talking about Trump so much, I keep saying excuses, because that's all he seems to make anymore. But Occam's razor would suggest they're seeing the same thing the public polls are showing, that Hillary Clinton's lead in Virginia and Colorado and Pennsylvania is now comfortable, and there's not much need to spend money in those states anymore. And Trump isn't challenging for them anyway. Remember his, well, I forget which high-level campaign official in the Trump campaign saying, and I quote, "We don't need to get out the vote effort." Oh, really? Now, remember how I've been talking in recent videos about how the line was that, well, with Trump, you got to throw the rules out. Well, this is when the rules strike back. What works with a little niche, with 10% of the electorate, doesn't work with the entire electorate. The belief that the Trump campaign is working fine, and I got a video coming up, the next video, you're going to find out in all kinds of ways how not fine it really is. That television advertising isn't needed, that campaign offices and full-time staffers in swing states aren't needed. You know, at some point, the Trump argument to never Trump Republicans and never Trump conservatives like myself is to jump on board a bandwagon of delusional denial. And really, you Trump supporters need to get off that train rather than us committing philosophical suicide by jumping on.